Should old acquaintance be forgot? Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and my year-end wrap-up for 2022. Alright, so how did I do this year? Well, I got 11 kits completed this year. One of them was started in 2021, late 2021, and finished up in the very early part of 2022. So, you know, most of the construction occurred the previous year, but it was completed this year, so that's why I'm including it. I would have had another complete, that being the Revell F15C in 1/48 scale. And if you follow my channel, you'll know that I was working on that for a while, and I'd gotten pretty far. As a matter of fact, I was getting ready to start paint work. And I had an accident in the paint booth, whereupon I slopped a huge amount of paint in my clumsiness onto the aircraft. And it's a lacquer-based acrylic, and it marred the plastic. So it wasn't just a matter of cleaning or painting over the paint that I slopped on it, but it actually messed up the plastic. So that was a toss. So that one was close, but no cigar. All right, enough blathering about that. What did I actually get completed this year? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through my list and kind of talk a little bit about the kit, if there's anything unique about it, if it's the first time for something, or if I ran across anything interesting. And then at the end, I'll do a slideshow of a single photo of each one of the kits I finished this year. So let's get cracking. The first one I got done was the Amusing Hobby 1/35 scale shot cal. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's the way it's spelled. It's my first Amusing Hobby kit, and it's my second IDF kit. I haven't built that many of them. Built the Tamiya Merkava a few years ago. Enjoyed that. They're interesting vehicles, and my friend Keith Short, he gave me the shot cal to do. So I take that back. I built 3, but whatever. The shot cal was a really nice kit. I did some pretty major surgery on the turret in order to replicate the canvas cover, the rubberized canvas cover that covers the mantlet. So that was kind of a departure for me. That's not something I do very often unless I have to. So that was a really good kit. Enjoyed that one a lot. Second kit was also a gift from Keith Short. Was the CMK 1/35 scale VW Type 825 pickup. Now, I guess that kit comes as just a regular, I think it's Type 82 Volkswagen World War II era. But this particular one, you have to saw off the back of it and install a resin pickup bed on it. So that was quite a departure for me. That was a lot more resin than I normally deal with, because normally resin is like for wheels or stowage or stuff like that. Not really any modifications to the actual kit itself. But that one worked out pretty good. Big departure for me. First CMK kit I ever built, and a lot of resin, more than I'm used to. So what's next? Tamiya 1/48 scale F51D, built as a P51D. So basically, it is it's a Korean War era F51. Difference between it and the P51 is mainly the numerical designation and the fact that it has like rockets and I don't know, whatever. But I built it as a P51D because I wanted to build Bad Angel, which is a pretty interesting aircraft. Really enjoyed the kit. You know, typical. People hear this phrase ad nauseum. Typical Tamiya kit, and it was. It went together great. I was really pleased with the paint job and the weathering that I was able to achieve on it. It's one of those kits where after I got it built, right when I got it built, I was like, yeah, well, it turned out all right, you know. But after letting it sit and then looking at it again, I appreciate the result more. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not saying it's an awesome thing. I'm just pleased with the results I was able to achieve. But that was a really good kit. After that was another Keith Short kit, and that was the Dragon 1/35th scale Elephant. So that was a good kit. I used Edward photo etch for the Zimmerit, and it worked out pretty well. I wish there were alternatives. There used to be, but anymore they're just like, it's either molded on or Edward. You know, there's other brands like ATAC and Cavalier and stuff like that. And I've had some experience with Cavalier, and it was not favorable. And I'll get to that on one of my other builds coming in the future. But anyway, the Dragon Elephant, I really liked it. I've always wanted to build an Elephant or a Ferdinand, and Keith gave me that opportunity by giving me this kit, and I really enjoyed it. And it turned out, I was pretty pleased with the way it turned out. So it wasn't your typical Dragon kit that can be overly complicated and have a jillion extra parts because of different versions and all this kind of stuff. Pretty much all the parts in the kit were used, and it was an enjoyable build, and I was pretty pleased with the result. After that, you're going to see a pattern here. After that was another Keith Short kit, the Academy 1/72nd scale JU87 G1 Stuka. It is one of the tank buster type with the 37mm guns slung under the wings, and it came with two marking options, one for Rudel, which I did not do because that's one everybody does, and I just not too interested in that guy. But I did the other markings, which was just like some random, you know, unknown pilot or whatever. But that was a really good kit. Had a really good time building that one. However, I did have an accident with it. I dropped my my camera mount, fell on it, so it broke off the antenna, and I think it did something, or it broke off one of the supports for the horizontal stabilizers in the back. So when you see the slide of it and you notice those things, well, that's because something fell on it. But anyway, it was a really good kit. I enjoyed that one, and kind of a departure for me. I haven't built a Stuka since junior high, back in the mid-70s. So that was a little bit different for me. Next, one that came from Jim, my buddy over at Shutter Ace, is the AMT Ertl 1/48 scale P40F Warhawk. Now, I have not built a Warhawk, again, since junior high, since I was a kid. And I've never built an AMT aircraft. And this one, I was really pleasantly surprised. There were a few little fit issues, but as one can see in my video series building that kit, super easy to overcome. There's no problem with them. And other than that, it went together really good. It has nice engraved panel line detail instead of raised, which I was kind of surprised. But overall, a really good kit. Now, there are some things that are kind of simplified, like the cockpit and things like that, but there's aftermarket if you want to trick it out, and, you know, if you want to leave it stock, it's good enough, because I did mine with closed canopy and gear up, which is a departure for me. I usually do gear down, but I wanted to do gear up for a change. And the end result, I was really stoked with it. It was a really good kit. I have another one. It's this one was the F. I can't remember what the other one is, but I'm looking forward to building that one hopefully sometime this year. But it was a really good kit. So if you ever have a chance to an opportunity to build one, I would say go for it, because they can be found for pretty decent prices if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, thanks Jim for that one. It was a good kit, and pretty pleased with the results. So the next one was the good old Tamiya 1/35 scale Panzer II that's been around forever. Now the difference with this one is I built it in U.S. capture markings using the, I think it's Kaguru decal set of captured German stuff. I don't remember what the title of the book was, but it comes with a lot of decals, and one of the options was a Panzer II in U.S. capture markings and from Tunisia. So that one, there was quite a bit of scratch building to do, and there was quite a bit of photo etch to do, and I also used T-Rex tracks for the first time. So there was a lot of work involved with that one, a lot of looking at photos of the actual vehicle, and just a lot of stuff going on. And funny thing is I had forgotten all about it. I'd read long ago, well, not, a few years maybe, whenever it came out, that Academy has, I think it's Academy, has a Panzer II in U.S. markings that's already molded, built. All you gotta do is build it and stick stuff on it and paint it, and you got that very vehicle. But I discovered that about halfway through, and it was basically, even at that point, I didn't really want to change my mind because I wanted to practice with scratch building and extensive photo etch and stuff like that, and try to replicate, photographs, and which is good exercise once in a while, I think. So anyway, in the end, it worked out really well. The T-Rex tracks were extremely fragile. They're really nice tracks. They look really good, but they are a bit fiddly, and the boxes say you don't need glue, but that is totally not correct because the pins will fall out. They do not. You can bottom those things out, and they will not friction fit stay in. You tilt the track sideways, and some will just fall out. And then we're working the track around, trying to paint and all that kind of, they'll fall out. So I end up having to use super glue on each pin where it went through the edge of the track, the outside edge of the track. So good tracks, but very fiddly and easily damaged. So they need care. But anyway, overall the project was really nice, really fun, and in the end I was really satisfied with the result. Next up was the Airfix 1/72 scale P51D Mustang. Now I bought that one at a local, it's not a local, it's a US chain called Hobby Lobby, and they sell these Airfix 1/72 scale kits for like $9.99 regular price, and there is a 40% off savings you can get periodically, and I did that. So it was a very inexpensive kit, and I built it with markings right out of the box, which is one of the red tails. I can't remember the name of it right now, but one of the red tails. And the kit was really nice. Again, I did that one gear up as well. I painted some of the markings, mainly the red tail, the stripes, and wingtips, stuff like that, but used decals for, the insignia and so forth. But I did that closed canopy with a pilot and gear up. And it was a really nice kit. So it's one of the newer, I think it's like 2017, I think, maybe newer. But the newer Airfix kits that I've dealt with have been really good kits, and this is no exception. It was a really nice kit, turned out great, and definitely a big recommendation. I mean, recommendation anyways, but for the price you can get the thing, I'd build another. So anyway, Airfix 1/72 scale P51D red tail, great kit. Next up was another Keith Short kit, and that's the Dragon 1/35 scale Panzer I, and I did that one in desert markings. I added a figure, an aftermarket figure, I believe it was an Alpine figure, I think, and Alpine figure was great, really liked it. And the kit turned out really good. Another really nice Dragon kit because it's just the basic kit. It doesn't have stuff for other versions. It doesn't cross with other versions or anything like that. It's pretty much everything in that box goes on the kit and you're good to go. And that one I actually used kit tracks, which were magic tracks, which was nice. I haven't used magic tracks too many times, but you know, they're fairly easy to work with. And that one turned out really well. The weathering job on it, chipping, weathering, dirt, stuff like that came out good. And I was really stoked with the figure. I'm getting a little more comfortable with figures, so you'll be seeing more of those in the future. Next up, another Keith Short kit, the Hasegawa 1/72nd scale Ki-51 Sonya. Now, if I've built a Hasegawa kit, it was when I was a kid. I don't remember building one. I remember seeing them as a kid at the local places where I would get model kits where I lived, but I can't actually remember building one. I could have. But in modern times, this is my first Hasegawa kit. And it was a really, really nice kit. There's not a whole lot to it as far as parts. It's pretty simple, but the detail's really nice. And it builds up really well. So I did that one, closed canopy. Didn't do it gear up though because it's fixed landing gear. But that was fun because I don't build much in the way of Japanese aircraft, which is odd considering I have, I think, 3 waiting to be built now. But it was a fun kit. I painted all of the markings on that one and used last few kits have been pretty much extensively lacquer-based acrylics. I've pretty much given up on water-based acrylics. I know lots of people get a lot of great results, and there's no doubt about that. It's just I have a hard time with them, and I don't want to have to do science to do my paint jobs. I want to be able to get paint out of a bottle, put it in a cup, spray it, boom, done. And that's what I'm doing. So this kit was really fun. Used water-based or lacquer-based acrylics on it. Turned out great. Hasegawa kits, I would definitely build another, and I plan on it when I can find some subjects that I want. But really fun kit. Thanks, Keith. And yeah, turned out great. Then my last complete of the year is quite a departure for me. It was the Academy 1/32nd scale Sopwith Camel. So I haven't built any World War I aircraft since I was a kid, and it's only my second biplane, the first being in my modern model building career here. The first one was the Tamiya 1/48 scale Swordfish, and that was a fun kit to build and kind of sparked my interest in building more biplanes, which obviously means World War I. And this was one that Keith had given me some time back, and I wanted to build it because I need to learn some techniques that are kind of unique to World War I aircraft for some future projects. Rigging, wood grain finishes for, like, you know, surrounding the cockpit and propellers and all that kind of stuff. So it was very much a learning exercise, and in the end, I have to say I was quite pleased. I mean, I've heard horror stories about that kit. Now, it might not be a Wingnut Wings kit or some of the other really great World War I kit manufacturers, but it's a very doable kit, and the end result looks pretty good. And I'm not saying that's through any of my own abilities, but it builds into a nice kit with some care. And I found that rigging was way easier than I ever thought it was going to be. So I was pretty stoked with it. It turned out pretty good. In the photo, you will see that the wood surrounding the cockpit is pretty much a solid color. It had wood grain on it, but through handling, it rubbed off because it was oil-based paints for that wood grain, to give it the wood grain tech or look. and I need to, you know, I should have clear coated it, but I wasn't sure how that would take going on top of, you know, oils that had not cured completely. So it's a learning process, but I'm getting there. And that was a fun kit, so I enjoyed that one. And that was my final completed kit for 2022. There you have it. That's the wrap up for 2022. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll stick around for 2023 because I've got some more kits lined up. Some fun stuff coming up with a group build, of which I'll try and remember to post a link at the end of this video if you want to check that out and maybe be involved. But it's a group build that me and Jim are doing, Jim over at Shutter Ace. So check that out. I won't get into it here, but again, that's it for 2022. Hope you stay tuned for 2023. I've given you a little preview of what's coming up with the completion of the Yacht Tiger and the Monogram B25, but there's a whole lot of other stuff coming in. Some stuff, again, that's, you know, unusual for me, but anyway, should be a good year. So, as always, thanks to everybody that subscribes and watches my ramblings. I really appreciate it. It's fun to interact with all of you who post comments. You know, that's what makes it the funnest, is getting some chatter going back and forth between people around the world and myself. It's really fun. So stick around for 2023. If you haven't subscribed, maybe think about doing it and watch some of my videos, and if anything interests you. And that's it. So with that, I wish you all a happy new year, happy prosperous new year. Hope everybody has a great year in whatever you do. And yeah, I'll see you all later.